Hi there, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm working on another Project Life spread, and if you've been following along on my channel here or on Instagram, then you probably know that I've been doing a lot of Project Life over the last couple weeks or so. So to keep things interesting, I thought I would change it up a bit and do something different. So today I am following along with Diane of Dearly D and doing a 5 favorite things Project Life spread. So instead of using the kits that I have, I've chosen 5 things from my stash that I really want to use, things that are really just calling to me right now. And this is what I'm going to use for supplies for this week's spread. I'm working on week 43, which is just last week, which means I am very nearly caught up. After this, I will be completely caught up on my album. So it's very much fall here, and I picked out some things that I thought would work well with that theme. So first of all, I have this paper pad from Cedar Lane, and I have used just a few things out of it, but it's mostly intact. You can see I got it at Tuesday Morning fairly inexpensively. And it's one, I think it might be my favorite fall collection. It's not new. I think it came out last year, yeah, 2017. But I just love the colors of it, and I love the patterns. So I really want to use that in my album. I've also chosen this sticker sheet from Studio Calico. I think this was last year as well. It may have been the year before, I'm not sure. It was from a Studio Calico kit. I also have these cork stickers from Freckled Fawn. They have gold foiling on them, so they're leaves and pumpkins with gold foil, and I've been hoarding these, so I'm excited to actually get them into my album. And then I also have this this double-sided sticker sheet from Amy Tangerine. This came in a Citrus Twist Kit embellishment kit that I picked up maybe a couple months ago. I can't quite remember which month it was. Maybe it was September. And this is from Amy Tan's new collection, which I can never remember the name of. But I thought the craft paper background would look really nice with all of the fall colors in this paper pack and in these embellishments. And then the gold foiling also echoed the gold foil on the cork. So I thought that would be a good thing to include. And since I haven't used any of it yet, I really want to start using that up. And then the last thing I chose was this stamp from Studio Calico and in a creative bubble. I purchased it not too long ago in a stamp sale that Studio Calico had. I loved all of the texture and the background stamps. I picked it because I thought these motifs went really well with this sticker sheet, and I thought it added a bit of whimsy to would add a bit of whimsy to the spread. So I chose it, and I'd like to see how I might be able to include it. I also thought I could use some of these smaller phrases to create my own little phrase stickers or little phrase bits if I so chose. So that is what I have. I am going to grab my photos and then get started. So I have my photos laid out on my spread, and I'm just going to start going through the 6x6 paper pad and pull out ones that catch my eye, basically. I'm just looking through and finding my favorites. So I really love that leaf print, and I love that dark teal color, and I know this light teal color will work really well for stamping, so I grabbed that as well. And then that acorn print is just adorable, so I went back and grabbed that one too. And this is more than I'll need for this spread, but this gives me options. I can play around and move things around and find the right balance of color and pattern for my spread. So because I use all 3x4 pockets, I'm going to start by trimming everything down to 3x4. Or at least the ones that I know I want to use behind my photos or as filler cards. I'm just placing them down behind photos that I feel like they go well with. So I put that dark teal pattern behind my coffee cup. It's actually hot chocolate, but my cup has that same kind of color in the handle and on the rim, so I think that will work. And then I grab this cut apart sheet, and I really love this kind of leaf print wreath on this little card. So I grabbed a 2-inch punch, but you can see I'm having some trouble with it. I don't know what the problem is with this punch. I've been struggling with it. I haven't had it that long, and it worked fine for the first few times I used it, and now it won't punch through. Like, I just can't push down. It won't go through the paper, and this isn't exceptionally thick paper or anything, so I'm not sure what's going on. I've tried using some tinfoil to kind of sharpen it. It didn't do anything. So if you have any tips, I'm all ears. I don't know what to do or what else to try to get it to work, but I used that punch, or I reach for that punch a lot. It's a great size, so I really would like to keep it in my stash. I just can't keep using it if it's not going to work. So I don't know what to do to make it work like it's supposed to. Okay, so moving on, I've switched things around a little bit because I want to use that craft journaling spot from the Amy Tangerine sticker sheet, and I didn't like it on the card that I had in that bottom corner, that leaf print. It was too busy. So I chose this kind of peachy coral colored card instead, and I've adhered that down, and now I'm thinking about my title card. So because I moved that coral color card to the bottom, I definitely don't want to keep that as my title card as well. It's just too pink or peachy heavy on that side of the spread, so I'm going to use this dark teal card instead, and I chose a very light patterned print from the 6x6 pad to use to stamp my dates on, and I just grabbed a label punch for that, and then I'm going to use the alphas that are on the back of this sticker sheet to spell out week 43, and I didn't make you watch that whole thing, but I just used my Thickers alignment guide to get those straight, and I'm working on a little embellishment cluster at the top of this card. I grabbed another little bit from the cut apart sheet, and I'm using some of these hexagon stickers from the Studio Calico sticker sheet, and so I haven't adhered down my title yet because I want to make sure that I have room for this cluster. So I'm also adding one of these leaves from the Amy Tangerine sticker sheet, and I love those. I love the ones that are white on craft. I think they're just gorgeous. So I'm just playing around with it and trying to get it exactly how I want it. Being very picky about how it lays on this card, and I'll finally get it like I like it, and then I'm gonna just adhere all of that down together to this card, and I think I add a staple to it first. I think that's what I was reaching for. So I'm just gonna staple it together and then stick it down on the card, and then I can add my title, my week 43, and get that straight. And then I'll add this label beneath it, but it definitely looks top heavy to me, so I want to add some more of that craft down below. So I'm looking through the sticker sheet to find what else I can add underneath that white label sticker, and I find a heart, but that doesn't quite do it. So I'm going to grab this leaf shape. It's again white on craft, and I'm going to add that behind the label and stick that down, and I'm just looking for a couple other little things I can add. There are these little asterisks in gold on this sheet, so I spread those around this card, and I'm going to add my date stamp. So this is just a roller date stamp that I picked up from the Target Dollar Spot a few years back, and that's what I use on pretty much all of my spreads. And just added the beginning date and the end date of this week, and looking for something else to add to this card. There was another little gold asterisk, but it wasn't quite big enough. Eventually I'm going to reach for this Studio Calico sticker sheet instead, and I find a little hexagon with a heart on it, and that works perfectly. So I'm just going to add a staple to that, and that's my title card done. I do come back to it in a little bit, so you'll see things change a little bit, but essentially that's what it's going to look like. So I have this 4x6 photo at the bottom, and normally I just cut them in half and add them to the two pockets, but if I had done that with this photo, I would have cut straight through somebody's face, and I normally try and edit them in Photoshop to make sure that that doesn't happen, but I must have missed this one and wasn't paying attention. So instead of trimming it in half, I'm just going to trim it just to the side of the face I would have had to cut through, and then add a little strip of this light teal paper and this kind of minty green paper to the side to make it 3x4 size. And I just lined that up on another 3x4 piece to make sure that I got it the right size. And then I'm just going to add a little embellishment cluster to the bottom corner of this using those hexagon stickers, and I love this sticker sheet. I've been hoarding it for a little while, just because I love hexagons, and these in 3 different sizes with these gorgeous fall colors and the sentiments on them. I'm really excited to get them into my album though. So, and they don't do any good just being in my stash, being hoarded. So I'm happy to get those used up. So now I'm gonna create my own little word or phrase stickers, sort of little phrase bits, embellishments, using this stamp set. So I'm just gonna grab my black ink and stamp them on this light colored minty green paper, and then I'm just gonna trim them out with my scissors. So there are quite a few on this stamp set, so I'm just gonna create a little line of them down this paper so I can just trim them all down in a line into strips. And I can't remember what they all say, but I end up using several of them. I think one says "in the moment," and another one says "remember this," and then I think "moment captured" was one of them, and I can't remember what the 4th one says. Something like "days like this" or something. Anyway, so I like the way that looks on the green paper, and I think I'm going to add a few of those to the wreath, the little leafy wreath that I have punched out there. But first I want to add something to the background of this card. So I grabbed the little offcut of this sort of grayish brown paper, and I tested out a stamp color. So I'm using these circle stamps that came on this Studio Calico stamp set, and I'm just going to add some texture to the background of this card. So I have a Hero Arts ink, and I don't remember the name of that, but I added that first, and now I'm testing this, I think it's called Peaches or something like that, from A Beautiful Mess, and it matches the color in this, this paper pad really well. So I add that as well, and eventually I'm going to add one more to the bottom in a minty green color again, and that's another Hero Arts ink, and I think this might be Sea Glass. But I test it first just to make sure it shows up the way I want it to, and then I add it to the bottom of this card before I adhere this wreath down. And I like the way that looks, so I'm going to move forward, and I think I'll add one of these leaves as well, but I need to glue this down first. So I glued that down. I'm going to trim out a couple of these little phrases, and like I said, they basically end up being like little phrase stickers or word stickers. That's essentially how I'm using them. I'm just going to use my glue runner to adhere those down, and so that I don't get glue all over my table, I just use the back of that little scrap that I used to test the stamping on. And then I can add one of these leaf stickers, and that is my filler card all done. So I'm going to move on to this photo of, it's actually a buffet or a sideboard. It's a vintage mid-century modern sideboard that we purchased this week at a local antique shop, and I took a picture of it while we were shopping so that we could come back to it if we decided we wanted to get it, and we did eventually get it. So I'm going to include this photo, and I just stamped the date right on the photo because there wasn't a lot of room on this little journaling spot, and I had a bit to say. So I didn't make you watch me write my journaling, but I just wrote it with my gel pen right on this craft label, and I had cut off the top of that label because it was like a little arrow, but I didn't really need the pointy part, so I'm just using it as a plain label. And the whole thing was a little too high on the card for me to be able to embellish at the top like I wanted to, so I just peeled everything up and moved it down, and it tore a little bit behind the photo, but you won't ever see that, so that doesn't bother me. And there was a hexagon sticker with a little house on it, and I thought that was absolutely perfect for this photo, so I added that and used a gold staple to staple it on, and that's going to be it for that one. So for this photo of our lunch, next to that photo in the top right corner, I need to add just a little bit of journaling. So instead of using that same white paper that I had used for the title card, I'm going to use this light pinky peachy color, and that's light enough that you'll be able to see my writing on it. And I'm just going to add that below the photo and write a few lines about how, again, Jesse was tempting me with his lunch. This time it was a lunch at home, but he was sending me pictures of it nonetheless to try and I don't know, I guess make me jealous of what he had fixed for himself. So that's pretty much all I'm going to do to that card. I think I come back and add a leaf to it later, but for now it's basically done. So I switched out the paper behind this photo of my hot chocolate because I really wanted to add more of that light green minty colored paper to the spread, and I thought this would be a good place to do it. But I also really wanted to add that teal color just because it worked so well with my coffee cup in the photo. So I just decided to kind of create a border around my photo on the top and bottom and get both of those colors in this card instead of just the one. And then I'm going to just add my journaling around the rim of my cup, just like Kelly Perky would, and add a little heart to the bottom of that and staple it on, and that's going to be it for that one. And then I added a little flower to the bottom photo just to add some more of that craft with white print on it, just to spread that out around the layout. So for this photo of my dog and cat kind of cuddling, I guess, on the couch, I'm going to use another one of those little phrase stickers that I made, and the tiny little label that was part of the label punch that I used for that top photo, and add that along with a hexagon sticker, and that's going to be just enough space for me to add just one little line of journaling to that photo, and that's really all that I need. So I've skipped ahead and added my journaling to this bottom card. I had a bit to say about that night and that photo. So, oops, I hit the camera with my head. Sorry about that. So I'm going to add another leaf sticker to this bottom card. But first I want to add more of that textured stamping behind it. So I chose that same Hero Arts ink and used one of the little circles. I think it's the one with tiny little dots on it, and then I'll add the hexagon and the leaf sticker, the cork leaf sticker, to that. And I think I add one more little sticker before I call that one done. Yes, a little camera hexagon sticker there as well. And I'm going to go back and add a little hexagon to this card underneath that heart sticker, just to bring in some of that peachy pink color to that photo. And I'm just writing "so adorable" on that little label on this photo, and that's going to be it for that one. I'm just looking through the sticker sheet to see if there's anything else I want to add, and the spread is almost done now. I think the only thing I have remaining is a couple more stickers, and then I move everything around, and I move it around several times trying to get it exactly where I want it, and eventually I end up almost back where I started. I think just a couple things moved around, but that's going to be it for this spread. There are some close-up photos coming up, so I hope you enjoyed watching this process. I know it was a bit of a longer one, but if you stuck around, kudos to you and thank you. If you want to be notified when I upload new videos, be sure to subscribe. And if you did find some inspiration here, I would really appreciate you hitting that like button. It really does help me out knowing that people enjoy what I'm posting. So thank you all for watching and have a wonderful day.